His question is, Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam passed some years of his life in Sialkote. If Huzur kindly tell us something about that phase of his life.
He stayed in Sialkote for many years in obedience to his father's orders that you must do something to earn some money. And he thought he was wasting his time in mosque and reading the Qur'an. So he would go to Sialkote, and he recommended his case with somebody he knew. And so he was given an ordinary post at the court. क्या थी वो translation थी? I think in the court he used to translate, like here they are translators. Before the English judges etc., he used to translate the statement of ordinary people who didn't understand, but he didn't understand English either. I mean, he's going to speak, find out exactly what happened. But anyway, he was a sort of interpreter working in the court. Many years he spent there as such, and he came to know so many people, Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Muslims, and he used to hold dialogue with them on religious affairs, on controversial matters. So much so that all his time after the court was spent in this service of Islam. And those people who saw him there from close quarters, they have made their statements about his early life there. And even those who became extremely not belligerent, but who did not believe in Ahmediyya later on when he claimed to be a Messiah, but they had good fortune of watching him from very close. So later on, although they had rejected his claim to be a Messiah, they gave the evidence that he spent a very pious life. Not a spot to blame his character during that period. क्या देख लिया?
Yes, just mention a court in detail of the judges.
But I remember he was sort of interpreter in the court for villagers. Maybe he interpreted them in Urdu, and that is quite sufficient in the ordinary court. So anyway, he spent some years there and established a spotless conduct, a history of spotless conduct. That incident also took place there when he saw the roof killing.
Yes, exactly, it happened there.
That was even before or after?
During his stay.
During his stay,
yes, it happened.
But before he had claimed to be the promised Messiah.
Yes,
much before.
Yes.
Now about his piety and the fact that he was so dear to God, and even those were blessed who lived around him, he once got up in the middle of night and told some people who shared living in the same building to walk out of the building immediately. So they said, why? It's all right. He said, no, I know this is going to collapse and the roof is going to buckle in, and then the entire building will collapse. So instead of walking out first, he discussed with them, debated with them, and said, you go out first and I'll come later. Because he knew Allah would save him. He knew Allah would save him. And he had perfect trust that as long as he is in the building, the roof is not going to cave in. So this is exactly what happened. When all had walked out, then he got out, and the moment he stepped out, the building collapsed. So this is one incident. There were some other very interesting incidents during that period, but for the time being that should be sufficient.